Hey, what's up? I'm here to talk about a sweet little game called Undertale! Just kidding. I'm talking about It Takes Two, a wonderful little game that literally requires two people to play it. It Takes Two is a co-op puzzle platformer game starring Cody and May, an estranged married couple that plans on getting divorced. Their daughter, Rose, overhears the conversation about separating and performs a witchcraft ritual in order to bring them back together. Cody and May wake up from a nap to find themselves transformed into dolls. May, a wooden doll, and Cody, a clay one. This is immediately jarring to them, wanting to look for a way to transform back into their human bodies. But this proves that it would be much harder of a task than they originally want it to be. A book with a face appears in front of them, and his name is Dr. Hakim. He tells the duo that in order to change back, they must save their relationship. I'm just gonna say right now that I love this game, a disgusting amount even, like so much to a point where I'm quite literally bringing it up in almost every conversation I have. Much like a BTS stan, please do not kill me. But I literally forced my friend Choten to play this game with me out of obligation when I told him that I bought this game and gave him the puppy dog eyes that no one can resist. It's safe to say that he enjoyed this game as much as I did. It Takes Two was made by Hazelight Studios, a studio that has made two other games, both of which are also forced co-op. Never mind. Brothers is actually one player. You control both characters with one controller, and there's also a way out. A game I have never played, but you know what, it looks alright. It Takes Two is the third game developed by Hazelight, and the shit I assume they've learned making the other two games really comes to shine through in this one. The gameplay is fantastic, the characters are lovable, the environments are beautiful, the story is alright. And I only say that because it's really weird. It's a game with a heavy story focus, but the story is just okay at best. However, the real focus is on the relationship between May and Cody. Their relationship has a rift torn between them when they stop spending time with each other and start fighting frequently. They stop communicating, and it's just like any real relationship. It doesn't work without work. The entire game is focused on Cody and Emily. What? Her name is May. I wrote Emily in the script. Rebuilding their relationship through the hardships they face throughout the game. Literally everything they do involves one another in some way. Like the mechanics in each level, Cody and May will be given different abilities that complement each other in some way. The very first level plops you right into the gameplay. There's no proper tutorial. The only tutorial you're given is button prompts on the screen. The game really wants you to figure things out on your own. Cody and May have the same base moveset that only differ inside of the different chapters when they each receive their unique abilities. The abilities they gain are area specific and are only used in areas they're received in. And in the very first area, the shed, May is given the head of a talking hammer, Pat the Hammer, and Cody gets some nails held together by Lego joint connectors. Immediately you can see the synergy of how they'd be used together, right? Cody throws a nail and May can hammer it in. Haha, just kidding. The nails are actually used as platforms for May to swing on the claw with the claw of her hammer. And you know what? It's a pretty interesting thing to show right off the bat with what's coming. Anyway, the first boss Vorzu. Isn't that cool? As I said, each area, well, almost each area, gives Cody and May new abilities. A sap gun that causes explosions when shot with matches. Space boots and Mermaid Man's belt.
Stand right here. Stand right here. Okay.
You're gonna crush me? Yes. I got crushed.
I'm surprised that works.
Fidget spinners that are only used for one 10-minute segment. This feels slightly cursed. Like, this feels like a liminal space.
What does that mean?
Very disappointing. Cloning and time travel.
We'd lose everything.
May, I'm sorry I cheated on you, but you were never home.
Oh no.
But when you're never around?
Two halves of a magnet.
Damn it. Alright.
Choten platforming master.
Why do you say that like chills?
Choten platforming master. Number 15. Gardening tools and a whip. I'm a pretty little flower. You have to pee on me. The ability to sing in a shield. The singing is also dynamic depending on the music of the area you're in. Oh, I sing with the music.
I just noticed that. It reminds me of Hades a little bit.
I still really want to play Hades.
It's good.
Needless to say, these wacky combinations of abilities are actually very creative and never lack anything new to throw at us. They're very unorthodox powers that mesh surprisingly well. Not only that, but abilities are themed after what Dr. Hakim wants them to fix their relationship. Cody and May get time travel and cloning abilities, respectively, because Cody is upset that there's not enough time in the day to spend with May, and she's upset that she's unable to balance both work and personal life. Or in the snow globe, where they receive 2 halves of one magnet. This represents their attraction, and eventually in the level, they're able to use the magnets on each other to literally become attracted to each other. It's pretty endearing seeing May and Cody come together gradually throughout the game, overcoming all of the challenges thrown at them by Hakim. But not really thrown at them by Hakim, he's just there to make things worse. This stupid fucking book is literally the main antagonist. I don't care, they can still get divorced. Actually, I care a little bit. The struggles they go through feel very real, and it's kind of jarring seeing these real problems come out of little dolls made of wood and clay. The problems they face are thrown into your face clear as day. The whole game is supposed to be about Hakim counseling the couple, but the actual counseling doesn't happen until halfway into the game. The first half of the game entirely consists of Cody and May trying to find Rose, their daughter, to tell her, okay, I'm really good at writing, tell her to change them back into humans. Of course, Rose knows how to change them back, but the fact that they literally do not have the ability to communicate because they're on literal different planes of existence makes all of that impossible. They start the journey in the tool shed, make their way to a giant tree where Cody gets the
tree sap Habshike 57.
Just you nuts?
which, while googling what the fuck a Habshike is, I learned that it's a little nod to Hazelight's previous game, A Way Out. That's pretty cool. A glaring problem this game has is its emphasis on making May the main character. By far, the game feels like it's more centered around her than it does the couple as a whole, and that's well demonstrated throughout the gameplay. May almost always has the flashier abilities, is doing the platforming, while Cody sits off to the side making the platforms accessible. Even in Cody's dedicated level, The Garden, Cody's abilities still feel like they sit to the side of May's sickle and water gun ability. May handles all the combat, Cody creates platforms for May. Holds down enemies with his whip. While Cody objectively has more to do than May does in his own dedicated level, May still feels like the shining star because of the fact that she's doing all of the dirty work. Killing all of the enemies, opening the next area up, it's all May, which shines a glaring problem on the final level as well. The garden focuses on Cody's passions, the attic focuses on May's passions. The attic is also the final level of the game. See what I'm saying? The final level is entirely May focused. The entire level builds up to Cody and May building a stage for her to do an epic performance. It's all centered around May. And what I do not understand is it feels like there's an entire extra chapter that was cut from the game, because this ending feels very, very rushed. I say that because in the one chapter that was supposed to be focused on May, it's clearly trying to wrap things up very quickly. At the very beginning of the chapter, you don't really feel that at all. It just feels like the beginning of a part where May finds her passion, just like how it felt at the beginning of The Garden. But then as the chapter goes on, things feel more and more like they're approaching the end. And it doesn't make sense, because why would you end the game on a part where it's a major focus on one character? It really, really feels like there was supposed to be a final 10th chapter and it was cut because of time constraints or something. I haven't even talked about the final boss yet either. Which one do you think is the final boss? This giant flower or this giant disco ball that leads into a DDR micromanaging minigame? Yeah, that's right, it's the fucking disco minigame. It's a really, really good sequence of events, but this does not feel like it deserves to be the finale of a game this epic. It certainly feels climactic, I'll give it that, but the ending to a game on one of 2 major characters' solo stories makes no sense at all. In the chapter, Rose's Room, Cody and May make their way through a pillow fort that somehow leads to outer space, and this is the most out of place level in the entire game, because it's just straight up outer space. It's not some room that has been creatively reimagined to be something different, it's just space, and that's where they find Moon Baboon, one of Rose's best friends. Yes, friends. The duo believe that in order to break the spell they have to make Rose cry, What a stand-up bunch of people these two are. I love how the first thing that comes to mind when trying to save their own asses is to make their daughter feel bad. It actually really does show that at this point they still want to split up with each other and are willing to go through any means necessary to avoid getting back together. The entire journey to make their only daughter cry is long, arduous, and has a 5-minute segment where you literally glide on fidget spinners. Fucking pog. Anyway, the entire journey leads up to the moment that I honestly will believe will go down in video game history. The murder of Cutie the elephant. This single moment was so fucking hard to play through because of how literally gut-wrenching it is.
You sound unhappy. You can tell me what's wrong. That's what friends are for.
No, nothing's wrong. It's great. Everything's like super great.
Well, I can see you're not happy. You need a hug.
I kinda do. Oh,
Cutie, what are you doing?
Cutie is such a sweet and innocent little elephant, and these two monsters had to go and fuck her up. I hate this.
Yeah, I don't want to see.
I don't want to see her die.
We have to like. They have to make us hate her.
Please no. Please no. Oh no.
She's gonna be like, my fucking leg.
We gotta get her to the edge of the bookshelf.
No, please don't.
Come on, grab her!
No, I don't want to. I don't want to.
What is this?
No, please.
I think she's tricking us.
No. No. This hurts.
You gotta tap.
I don't want to. Stop.
Oh, it wasn't.
I'm gonna cry. You did all of this just to make your daughter cry? You're a fucking monster. The way the music distorts itself as you're brutalizing Cutie really hammers in how fucking horrible and Cody and May are. It was honestly really fucking hard to complete this segment. A lot harder than the actual game. And this game can get pretty hard. A lot of the bosses are genuinely difficult. You like that? I'm wrapping back around to the bosses. I'm gonna give major praise for that because they all vary in how they play. But they're kind of inconsistent in how they're placed out. The very first chapter has 2 bosses, Vor boss and CBT boss. Chapter 2 has 5 bosses. And then chapter 3 has a total of 4 bosses in the longest 3 chapters in the entire game. Yes, I'm grouping them all together. The final level has 2 bosses, but it's really up in the air which is the actual final boss, because neither of them feel like a final boss. The giant microphone snake, which is literally one giant chase sequence, or the disco dance party. Even though literally every single boss is phenomenal in its own right, the very end just kind of lacks that oomph you'd expect a finale to have. It's still a really, really good sequence of events. There's even a freaking Rainbow Road references.
I can't believe this.
It's a me, Cody.
It's
Oh,
a
yeah,
me,
it's
Cody.
super on the nose.
Yeah, they're not even hiding
If you
it.
fall off, Dr. Akeem puts you back like fucking what's his name?
Licky too? Okay, I gotta die
Yeah.
then. I gotta die. References? Yeah. There's a ton of references to other games and media in this game. And I mean a ton. Almost the entire game is built on these references. There's a Legend of Zelda reference that we missed in our playthrough. There's a Way Out reference that we also did not find. Street Fighter, Diablo, Terminator.
Exact same thing.
With the giant doll chasing you. Oh, Terminator.
It is the fuck the Oscars guy. They really put that in the game?
I mean, a majority of them happened during normal gameplay. Most of the minigames in this game are largely reminiscent of a lot of Mario Party minigames. It's an entire game built on references, and I think that's actually a strong suit. All of the references are done in very good taste. They never overstay their welcome, they're very well executed, and all around very fun nods to what they're referencing. I suppose after complaining about how Mei has most of the spotlight in this game, there's just not much left to talk about. I would start to repeat myself talking about every level being just plain good. Every single level introduces something new. The gameplay is literally never stale. This statement stands harder by the fact that this game literally begs to be played one more time, just swapping characters with your friend. Speaking of characters, the humans look weird. I mean, they look very weird. Especially Rose. They look like what an approximation of a human is. It's not even a big deal. The game is entirely focused on Mei and Cody as dolls. The dolls look amazing, but Rose looks like a rat. But I want to talk about the problems with these kinds of games. Games that are forced co-op, as in you can literally only beat the game co-op, have a major glaring issue of something called real life. You know, that little place you go to escape the monotony of video game life. The problem of time sink is a problem that many of these types of games is going to face, especially with the game so large in scale, 14 hours. It's difficult to get together to play these types of games consistently. Not only that, but it's kind of different to a squad setting if you like playing competitive games with friends. Normally those kinds of games of find match type games only require commitment in short bursts. You can leave whenever. With a game like It Takes Two, however, it takes more than a short burst of time to commit. Sure, each session you play with your friend can take like 30 minutes max, but then you'll be stretching the whole game out to like 2 weeks, and in that time interest can die down. I've seen this thing before. Friend asks you to play Borderlands 2. You both promise you're going to beat the whole game this time. One friend loses interest, stop playing, wait a couple years, repeat the cycle. This specific story has happened to me multiple times in my life. It's always the same friends that want to play again too. They get bored of League of Legends and want to play something else, but the interest in whatever they wanted to play dies so quickly it barely had time to even gain momentum. The thing is, it's so fun playing games with friends in a non-competitive setting. I'm not saying it's not fun to 100-0 your friends as Luigi, instantly losing all respect you've had with them, but it's kind of fun to just chill for a while, you know? Why would I want to get angry and upset that I'm going 0-3 in lane when I could just be shouting Varkas? But really, the big problem with finding the time and motivation to play, one person is going to want to play the whole game, and the other was going to try sucking their own dick or something, I don't know. I really think that this stupid game deserves a playthrough or two. It's really great, please buy it and then guilt trip someone into playing it with you. Or you know what, I'll play it with you. I will give you 14 hours of my time just to play it, yep. And those were my thoughts on It Takes Two. I recorded and played this game live on Twitch all the way through with Choten. I recommend that you go check both of us out on Twitch because we both stream frequently and neither of us are as active on YouTube. Thanks.
Look at all that dirt, boy. It's Julio bathing time.